First of many rounds of applause. Family members and all guests to the 2013 Springboard graduation ceremony, graduation and awards ceremony. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mary Meeker. I'm the principal of the Springboard program here. The guests of honor today obviously are these four sitting in front of us here in their caps and gowns. It is their accomplishments that we are here to celebrate today. But before we go there, I would like to take the opportunity to recognize some other folks who have supported, encouraged, and helped these students on their long journeys. Family members and friends, thank you for all that you have done for these graduates. Without your support, your encouragement, the meals you fixed, the alarm clocks you've set, the clothes you bought, the text messages, the late night phone calls, the gray hairs, the laundry. This is how I get all my gray hairs. And the cheerleading that you've done. Some of these students might not be sitting here today, so thanks to all of you. I'd also like to thank our school leaders who continue to support our programs here. I'd like to thank our new district superintendent, Dr. Madison. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your anticipated support of our Springboard program. We have a board member who's with us today, Douglas Ann Land from Trumansburg. Thank you for supporting our program on behalf of our board. Other TSD BOCES administrators, Mr. Fidel, a career tech principal, thank you. I don't think Mrs. Button is here. I didn't see her. But I know she supports what we do in the Springboard program as well. Other Holden School administrators and CSE chairpersons, Holly Carlin, thanks for being here today. Gail Grieger's here, yes? Gail Grieger, there you are. Thanks for being here. We believe that the work that we do here in the Springboard program is important, and we wouldn't be here if you didn't think so too, so thank you for your support. And a very special thank you goes to the staff of the Springboard program. Pam Hall, Don Smith, Angie Schmidt, Stephanie Abrams, Marie Leland, Judy Reese, Joe Wilson. Your dedication to these students and your efforts on their behalf do not go unnoticed, so thank you. The Smith School is a Circle of Courage school, and we spend a lot of time here talking about and learning about and practicing the 4 parts of the circle: belonging, mastery, independence, and generosity. Our graduates are headed down the road to independence soon. They've experienced belonging and mastery here. But they and other Springboard students that we're recognizing today can also be proud of the many acts of generosity that they've been a part of while they were in the program. They have volunteered their time to help others and have raised a lot of money for their treasury this year through fundraising efforts in the building and a pancake breakfast at Applebee's, and they were able to fund their end-of-the-year trip to Rochester and a wonderful dinner dance at the Lake Watch Inn. Nice job. These students were also instrumental in writing several stories and even doing the layout for several issues of the Smith School Times. More importantly, they have helped and supported each other. I am proud of you Springboard students, all the Springboard students, for all that you've done and all that you have given to others. I hope that you're proud of yourselves as well, and that you continue to give generously of yourselves whenever you can. I'd also like to recognize 5 other students who aren't here today, but who graduated and received their GED diplomas while they were at Springboard this year. So I'd like to recognize Aaron Allen from Newfield, Zach Brewster from Newfield, Casey Dow from Dryden, Jake Gleason from Lansing, and Phoebe Warner from Trumansburg. They were all students in the Springboard GED program this year, and all received their GED diplomas over the course of the year. So they deserve our recognition as well. So some of the graduates have been with us only for a short time, and others have been students in the building for several years. Some of you will go on to jobs. Others of you will continue your education and work toward getting a GED diploma. Right, Steve? Whatever the case, today is a big day. You have accomplished great things. You have passed your classes, you have achieved goals set forth in your IEPs, you will get an IEP diploma from your home school. I am incredibly proud of all that you have done. I hope that life holds many wonderful things for you. After you leave the Smith School, you have left a lasting impression on us. We won't forget you. Not one. So be careful, be safe, and congratulations. And now I'd like to turn the program over to Mr. Smith.
everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm Don Smith, and I'm one of the teachers in the Springboard program. We are here today to celebrate all of our students, but especially our graduating seniors. I should also mention that we have one graduating senior from a different program who will be joining us today. He is a very shy and quiet young man, and I wouldn't want to embarrass him by talking about him anymore right now. Recently, I've been having a lot of Mr. Smith moments. A Mr. Smith moment can happen when I'm walking down the street or when I'm driving in my truck. They happen a lot when I'm in stores. Mr. Smith moments always seem to happen when I least expect them. Now, I can't read minds, but I'm willing to bet that right now Cheyenne Russell is thinking to herself, yeah, right, what he really means are senior moments. But I don't mean senior moments. I have those too, but they're different. A Mr. Smith moment happens when I'm somewhere and I hear someone call, "Hey, Mr. Smith," and I turn around and I see someone that was one of my students a few years ago, or even 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or more years ago. One time I was walking down College Avenue and I heard, "Hey, Mr. Smith," and the driver of a TCAP bus that was going by was waving out the window at me, and he was a student that I hadn't seen in years. I've run into former students who are working at Wegmans, working at various auto parts stores, or working for a contractor who was doing repair work on my next door neighbor's house. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in Home Depot in the roofing materials section, and I heard, "Hey, Mr. Smith," and it was Brandon Lisk. Brandon was a student in the Springboard program a while back, and he was the winner of the Keith Riggs Award the year that he graduated. You'll hear more about the Keith Riggs Award later, but his name is on the plaque that has all the winners over the years, and we'll be announcing this year's winner as well. Brandon filled me in on what he's been up to, and I was happy to hear that he was married, he was living in Newfield, and he was doing very well. Last summer, I discovered that a student from way back was living just a few blocks away from me. I was walking home when I heard, "Hey, Mr. Smith," and he was sitting on the porch with his wife and kids. He's been working for the phone company. The last time I'd seen him many years ago, he had made some mistakes and he had gotten into serious trouble, but that was all ancient history now. We talked for a while, and I said to him, "Look, Tim, you're 37 years old, you're married, you have 3 kids. Maybe it's time you drop the Mr. Smith and just call me by my first name." He said, "Oh, I don't know, that would just be too weird." It's always good to find out that former students are doing well, but it doesn't always happen that way. I've seen the names of too many young people who I've taught in the newspaper for things like DWI, passing bad checks, robbery, or even assault. I've even seen a picture of a former student on the front page of the Ithaca Journal as he was being led into the courthouse. He was wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. So the big question is, why do some people end up having happy and successful lives, like I want all of you to have, and others end up going in the wrong direction? And I've heard too many of you guys say things like, "Well, whatever happens, happens." Does that sound familiar? Or you say, "Stuff happens," except you don't say stuff. Well, stuff doesn't just happen. People make stuff happen. So you are the ones who control the paths your lives take. Every time you make a good choice, you help to steer your life in the right direction. I want you all to go out there, make good choices, hang out with the right people, do the right thing, and if someone tries to talk you into doing the wrong thing, don't listen to them. So I look forward to running into all of you years from now and hearing you call, "Hey, Mr. Smith," and having you tell me lots of great things about how well you've been doing. So at this point, we have some awards to give out, and what you'll see is we have 2 awards for each person. So the first one is a more serious award. It's based on the 4 parts of the Circle of Courage, which you see up on the wall there. And the second one is something that's a little lighter, and it usually focuses on something that's happened during the school year with that individual student that we might remember them by. So, unfortunately, a good number of our students aren't here today. Some of them were GED students and they took their test and they're just waiting for the results, so they haven't been coming in. I'd like to call up Isaiah Batansis. just so you know, I'm calling people up in alphabetical order, so it isn't significant that you're the first one called up. So Isaiah joined our program at the beginning of the year. Didn't take him long to make new friends here. He kept in touch with his old friends. I think that he's kind of a person that can fit into all the different groups we have. So there are, small groups, and some people kind of stick to their group, but Isaiah is very good at mixing with everybody. In my math class, he's one of the few people I can count on to work individually. You get him going on something, and he works enthusiastically, and he likes to work until it's done, and I think that's a great quality. It's going to help you your whole life. So I think we've had a good time this year, and we even had a good time when we went to our formal dinner dance, which was just a few weeks ago. And before the dance, which ended after school hours, we had made arrangements for everybody to get a ride home. And we thought that Isaiah had said that he had a ride home, but at the end of the event, there wasn't anybody there to get him. So we called Isaiah's mom. She doesn't drive, so she was going to count on a neighbor to come get him. Mrs. Hall had the idea of maybe calling the police if we couldn't get a ride home. So we called your mom. We mentioned that, and she was able to meet us here right away. When your mom was getting out to talk to me, I did notice that as she came this way around the car, you were going that way, because I think you wanted to keep the car between you. So, and I was supposed to do the serious award first, but so with that in mind, I have for you a TCAT pass. Only for the use of Isaiah at the concerts, and it's for those times when he says that he has a ride home after a school event that ends late, but really doesn't. Okay, so the Serious Award is for mastery. And there's different things that you can master, and you've mastered a few. But the thing that we feel like you've really made so much progress this year is when you're in a difficult situation, you handle it so well. And that's a skill that a lot of people don't have, and you're really, really good at that right now. So we appreciate it. Okay, shout out to Sean Burdick, who isn't here. He's a GED student. Jonathan Cook. Okay. Jonathan joined us this year, but he didn't join us at the beginning of the year. He came in probably about midway through. And that's never easy for anybody to come into a new school. He knew a couple of people, but still, most people get started at the beginning. So that wasn't easy. And you did very well. I knew Tree a little. So in the beginning, sometimes we hear Jonathan say things like, I don't do work. Or, I don't do that. And, at first we thought, well, this kid's going to be trouble. But as time went on, we realized that, you were a little flexible. So, you come over, you sit with him, you do a little work together. The next time he'd say, well, I don't do math. Okay, so you can work with that. Before you know what he's saying, well, I don't do long division. So before you know it, he was really kind of getting with the program. And the same thing happened when we were getting ready for the formal dinner dance. And Jonathan said, I don't go to dances. So everybody's talking about the dance, they're getting all excited, they're talking about clothes and stuff, and before you know it, Jonathan's saying, well, I don't get dressed up for dances. And that's going on. And then we're getting him ready for the dance, and then he says, my people don't get dressed up. So the day before the dance, we said, it's okay, people can come with whatever they want. The day before the dance, and the whole crew is going over to cosmetology. They're going to get their haircuts. The girls are getting made up. Jonathan went over there, got a beautiful haircut, came back here. They went in the prom closet where there's all kinds of clothes that fit all kinds of people, and they found a suit of clothes. It was this charcoal gray jacket and darker pants and these beautiful brown wings. He looked like he was off the pages of GQ. With a beautiful haircut. He was like the best dressed guy there, which was pretty good for the guy that doesn't get dressed up. So, your serious award is the Belonging Award, the Circle of Courage. award for belonging, because you really fit right in. I think you've made friends here. You've met people that you've known from the past. And all in all, we're really happy to have you here, and I think you've done really well. So that's the first thing I give you. The second thing is the I care more than I'm willing to let people know award. because we feel like we're really happy to find out you really do care, and you're kind of softer than maybe you put on at times, which is a good thing. Anyway, congratulations. Another student that's not here, GED student. Rich Olds. Thank you for coming up here. So, Mitch hasn't been that crazy about being here lately. He was kind of hoping this was going to be his last year. I don't know if your father and you were still talking about it. But regardless of how that works out, we're really happy to have you here. And, you know, we'd be happy if you stay too, but that, again, that's up to you and your family. So, Mitch is really anxious to be out there in the working world. It's a bad time to be working. So, what we hope is that he stays and maybe gets some more skills so that when he does get out there, he'll be in a better position. But again, that's not the issue right now. So, during the course of the year, Mitch has traveled with us. He's been involved in various things. And one thing we've noticed is whenever we go on a field trip or go hiking through the woods or something, Mitch has two speeds. He has fast and he has really fast. And we'll be setting off down the trail, and before you know it, you're talking to and Mitch is down the trail. Mitch! You got to get him back. And he's the same way when we're doing fundraising. Miss Hall asks for volunteers. Anybody want to go over to the A building and sell tickets to the pancake breakfast? And Mitch has his hand up, and he's out the door. And he always comes back with like a wad of cash, big envelope full of things he sold, and his father sold some tickets too. And he's always been our really best fundraiser. So I don't know exactly what your technique is, but it's very effective. So he's really been our biggest fundraiser.
Smile.
Oh. Okay. Well, it works. So it's nice to see you smile. So the first award is the Circle of Courage Generosity Award for being willing to work hard to increase the amount of money in the Springboard Treasury, which you did. You really raised a lot. And I'm happy that you were able to go with us when we spent it on places like the trip. And also the Salesman of the Year Award. Again, for raising so much money for us. Thank you, Mitch. Amanda O'Neill. Okay. Hi, Amanda. Amanda's been with us a few years, and over the course of those years, we've seen incredible changes in you and how you're able to cope with stuff. Some of the little things, you know, that throw people a little bit used to throw you a lot, and they don't do that so much anymore. So once you got that together, it allows you to be more effective in other parts of your life, which you're doing in the morning. And oops, do we need to do that? In the morning, when you're over working in the snack shack, she's in a different program, and she's over there. She's making sandwiches in the morning, delivering sandwiches. And I think it gives you a really good feeling of accomplishment. And I can see that it's had an effect on you. So with that in mind, we have the Circle of Courage Mastery Award for learning many new vocational skills and becoming more able to advocate for yourself, which I'll add to. So you're very good at letting us know when you have an issue. You're letting, you know, I'll be honest, when you first got here, you were afraid to talk on the telephone. Remember that? Yeah. You want to call somebody and you'd ask me to do it, and now you just get on the phone. If the phone rings, you're over there, you're answering it, Mr. Smith's room. So that's a lot of progress. So a lot of good things happened this year. We look forward to more happening next year. So with that, and along with that goes your world's best bagel maker, because you made a few sandwiches for me over in the snack shack. And thanks. Bree Riker. Bree short for Brianna. Bree's in our morning GED class. She's made a lot of progress in working towards her GED, and she won't be getting it before the end of this year, but we hope very soon next year. So she's made a lot of good scores, and all the test areas have gone up. So you're really on the right track there. So Bree comes in first thing in the morning. She's always got a good smile on her face. She's very positive. you know, gives most people a hug. So she's really spreading goodwill wherever she goes. However, the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to try to interfere with her interacting with her communication device, which I can never figure out if it's a cell phone or an iPod or whatever it is. All I know is that. So we've had conversations like, I said, Bree, could you put your cell phone away?
It's an iPod.
It is away, but it's on your lap and you're pressing the button. I know, but isn't that not a, and, so, it's not an argument you're going to win. So I kind of, I've learned to tread lightly around that issue. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you the funny one first. You get the Mama Grizzly Cell Phone Protector Award for always thinking of her cell phone first. So don't mess with her if she's got her cell phone out. And also the serious one is the Circle of Courage Award for belonging. Because again, you fit in, you get along with everybody. You don't have a problem with anybody. You're a peacemaker. And then, like I said, you just spreading goodwill. The place would be pretty boring without you. And always happens. Thank you, Bree. David Watley. Okay, firstly, thank you for being here. David and I think we got along pretty well all year until recently when we started butting heads a little bit. So I'm hoping that, we can make that ancient history. I think part of the problem is, it's the end of the year, and I still think the rules matter. I think you got a little spring fever, so we've been going at it a little. So today's the last day. I'm happy we're ending on a nice note. So David's with us for the second year, and in those years, he's really been very brave about facing some things that are tough for him. I know he's brave, when he's riding his four-wheeler or his dirt bike or out in the woods or whatever. So that's one kind of bravery. But another kind of bravery is when certain parts of the school situation are not easy for you. And as Ms. Hall has done such a great job of explaining, it's not because you're not smart, it's because you have certain things that make reading hard. And I know it's frustrating, but he's gotten very willing to try. And I think you made a lot of progress, and I think you're much more comfortable, and that's the biggest thing in the world, to just be comfortable doing it. And it's like anything else, you just have to practice it, you get better at it. So we're really proud of you for doing that. So we have for you the Circle of Courage Award for independence, for making mature decisions and approaching life in an adult manner. And also along with that goes the Speed Racer Award for wanting to race anything that has wheels and an engine. Because I know you can race anything. Thank you, David.
Congratulations. This award is for here.
Or beat by.
Holy crap.
Well, it's not going to work. It's just going to say it's from the dollar store. There you go. Tyler Bogardus is one of the hardest working students I've ever met. He always gives it everything he's got, and Tyler has many talents. He's very artistic. He's an excellent cook. He started off with us last year in our afternoon program, but he really wanted to pursue his GED. So even though he didn't quite qualify for the program, we decided to give him a shot at it, and we changed his schedule this year so that he could begin to work toward passing the practice test for the GED. And I am very pleased to announce that he has done that. So it's with great pride that I congratulate you for that accomplishment. It is a really big deal. And appreciate you for your hard work and your tenacity and your persistence and your just unwillingness to ever give up. So now that I've said some nice things, I have to make fun of you. Now, Tyler has quite a few interests that he takes to a level that's close to the obsessive side. Over the time that I've known him, I've learned that he is quite a fashionista. He has a real love of shoes, believe it or not, really, really expensive ones, and cufflinks. Who wears cufflinks? And he's an avid eBay shopper, so he's always looking for these items on eBay, getting these fantastic deals. He often uses his artistic talents to showcase his interests. This part's not teasing, this is true. He really enjoys studying old airplanes, so after doing some internet research, he actually designed one, and he made it out of cardboard and glue and paint and all sorts of odds and ends. You can open the door and see in the cockpit, and there's instruments on the instrument panel. So he has a real passion for the little detail things in his artwork, and it's really quite unique and really special. At the moment, one of Tyler's passions is Harry Potter. He knows the stories inside and out, and he's fashioned some pretty spectacular copies of Harry Potter wands that are so much a part of the Harry Potter stories. Now, Tyler has really big plans for his future. At this point, he is planning to continue pursuing his GED and eventually hopes to enroll in the Job Corps program. For those of you who may not be familiar with it, it's a federally funded program designed to help young adults achieve their vocational goals. His plan is to perfect his culinary skills through the Job Corps program that's located near Albany. And once he completes the program, Job Corps helps the students find employment, and at the moment, he's considering seriously, although this sounds like it's not serious, it's very serious, he's considering a career as a chef on a cruise line, like the Disney cruises. So I'm hoping that he keeps in touch with me, because maybe he can get me some free tickets for one of them, because I'm sure he's going to make it. So Tyler, we decided to award you with a train ticket. It leaves platform 9 3/4 for a one-way trip to the Job Corps location of your choice, and it's subject to the rules and regulations set forth by the Ministry of Magic regarding Hogwarts Express Railway. We understand this train leaves at 10 a.m. on the day of your choosing. We wish you luck in your future endeavors. And like I said, a couple of free tickets on that cruise line would be really appreciated. In addition to that, Tyler, we'd like to give you a full Circle of Courage award because we feel that you have really taken seriously all 4 of the Circle quadrants: belonging, generosity, mastery, and independence, for navigating the adult world and being persistent in improving your academic skills. Thank you. And as I'm sure you figured out by now, the Circle of Courage in our building is something that's very, very special to all of us. We try to teach our students to live by those principles, and each year at graduation it's become a tradition that we present our graduating seniors with a framed Circle of Courage to help them remember the 4 parts that we feel are so critical in being a whole person and keeping yourself in a good place. So that's for you. And Mr. Smith, do you want to come on up for this part? Ooh, this isn't right. Well, these got twisted around. Hold on. Switched. I'd like to present you with a certificate of completion for successfully completing the springboard program. For you.
Thank you.
And we have your IEP diploma from Groton Central School. That's for you. And on behalf of the Teachers Association, we would like to present you with this award. There's a $100 check enclosed. Thank you for your dedicated hard work. It's been a pleasure being your teacher, and I really miss you. Want your button? It's not official if you don't have this on. You could just hold it up. It was too hard to get it on top.
I got it.
You can get it on? You want to try?
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Oh, right now we're going to practice. That's much better. It's very good. And it's a good thing. This is why I did this. We have a special guest who you may know is here.
I'm not sure.
Do you recognize Miss Watkins?
Oh,
Eddie's first grade teacher is here. And she would like to say a few words. I was afraid I was going to forget, so I put this in the folder. And it's way a good thing I did that.
Well, thank you. I was actually Eddie's first grade special ed teacher. Donna Loomis is his first grade teacher, and we began a journey together as Eddie began his journey. So when Holly Carling said in our department meeting a couple weeks ago that Eddie was graduating, I couldn't believe it. Number one, that I used to laugh at my parents that they used to say, I'm not old enough for that. Well, guess what? I'm not. But in thinking about Eddie and thinking about my teaching career and things, I wanted to say a few words. Some people say that teachers have the opportunity to shape a student and guide them down a path towards success. Well, that may be true. It's also true that students themselves have the opportunity to shape us as educators also. They have ways of changing us and our ways of teaching just by being themselves. This is true about Eddie Stevens and his journey in first grade back in 1998. As a 6-year-old, Eddie had a very unique way of approaching life and the people around him. His keen sense of order and his wonderful sense of humor made every day with him an adventure. As a new special education teacher, I was teamed with a very experienced and talented teacher in Donna Loomis, and we were beginning one of the very first inclusion programs our school district had ever seen. We had Eddie placed in our care, and we all forged our way ahead together. We learned so much. By working with Eddie and having him be part of our regular education program, we helped others in our building learn to embrace uniqueness and to adapt to the students' needs in order to help them succeed. Our motto came from the moral in the book Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andre. We are all unique and we all can dance. Some of us just need a different song to dance to. We felt it was up to us to find that song for Eddie, and I think we did. I'm so thankful to have been part of his educational journey and very proud to be here watching him begin the next chapter of his life. So,
we'll do this backwards. That's okay. We usually do the diplomas last, but since you have such a group of teachers, Eddie, it just seems appropriate that they should all present you with your diploma from Candor Central School. It says, "This certifies that Edward E. Stevens has satisfactorily completed the educational goals specified in the individualized education program as recommended by the Committee on Special Education and is awarded this individualized education program diploma given at Candor in the state of New York."
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, Eddie is one of those kids who's really been around for just about forever. I'm not sure we can even open the doors next year in September without you walking through. Give it a shot. Eddie has changed a lot over the years, as most of you have already figured out. And though I didn't know him back in the day, I've heard lots of stories about how he would react if he couldn't do something that he wanted to do, or if there was a change in the schedule that he wasn't expecting. And from the sound of things, it didn't sound too pretty, huh? But standing before you today is a young man who's worked really hard to improve in those skills, and I'm proud to say he's been very successful. He's flexible now. He is able to adapt to change, even when it's happening at the very last minute. He's matured, definitely, and he's greatly increased his academic skills along the line. I think Eddie takes a lot of pride in his work and in the academic gains that he's made this year. He's earned high honor roll all 4 of the marking periods, and he had the highest grade on the math final. I'm not sure you know that. He's cooperative. He always tries to help out. And for example, during math class, he often has the calculators passed out even before I've told everyone to take out a pencil. Eddie is never mean to other people, and he never gets involved in drama. On some days, that's a really big accomplishment in Springboard. He's very respected by all of his classmates and his teachers, and he also has a wonderful sense of humor. He's witty, and he loves to make people laugh. The students know, but some of the parents who are here, family members who are here may not know, but Eddie is a very skilled ventriloquist, and his sidekick is called Slappy, who's the puppet that you saw in the slideshows, and everybody in Smith School knows Slappy. But Eddie and Slappy have a really good routine going. They tease each other quite a bit, and sometimes Slappy can be known to get a bit carried away. Most of the kids know about Eddie's adventures on YouTube, and I meant to bring the advertisement over, Eddie, and I forgot. But if you type in the Edmeister in the YouTube website, you'll be able to see several videos that Eddie and Slappy have made together. He's added other puppets to them, and he's got quite a group of them now. So that's a little advertisement for your website. Anyway, so because of that, we nominated Eddie and Slappy for a few Oscar awards. Best Producer and Director of a YouTube Video, and of course, the Best Puppet. And the winners are Eddie Stevens for the Best Producer and Director of a YouTube Video. And if you were here last year, you know Slappy always gets an award too. So Slappy gets the Best Puppet. On a serious note, Eddie, we are very proud of you, and we hope that you'll continue to make progress as you move into adulthood, farther into adulthood. We'd like to give you the Circle of Courage Mastery Award for your increased ability to make decisions and to be flexible, and also for the skills that you've learned in math this year. We'd also like to give you a certificate of completion for successfully completing the Springboard program. Congratulations. and your circle of courage. So you'll always remember the important things. And last but not least, because there's a $100 check in here, is an award from the Teachers Association. Congratulations, Lynn.
Oh, sorry.
Stephen has been over here for about the last year. I see that grin. I promised I won't.
She trusts.
I did. Well, he told me this morning I better not come dressed like I was. He spent about 4 years with us at Turning Point High School, and then just this past year transferred over to the GED program. But during the last year, he still pops in every morning to get his hug and give me a little sass, and let me know that he's here for the day. And he's still participated in most of the stuff that we've done, including this morning he was with our program at Myers Park. And he and I took a little stroll along by the lake. And he told me everything that I was allowed to say and everything I wasn't allowed to say. Told me I'd better change my clothes because I wasn't going to his graduation looking like that. And so I was able to kind of share a lot of what was really kind of deep in my heart with him this morning. And I promised him that I wouldn't give him too hard a time right now. So I'm not going to do that. But Stephen has, over the years, gone from being the kind of kid that everybody always knew was in the building, which he assures me is genetic, by the way, to being the kind of guy who very often, if he didn't stop in and give you a little sass in the morning, you wouldn't necessarily know that he was even here. He's been through a lot of personal struggles, and he's waded through that, and he's figured it out, and he's settled. And I told him this morning, I don't always feel this way when we send kids out into the world, but I am very confident that Stephen has a very bright future. He has all the skills that he needs. He needs to zip it, right? Yeah. And above and beyond that, he's going to do just fine. And he also knows that if he ever needs us for anything, we're still here. Just because he's graduated doesn't mean that we aren't still to support any of you. But for Stephen, this is just, I gotta say it. I used to harass him about riding the school bus with his kids. I was afraid that one of these days he was going to be riding to school with, and here he is graduating. I'm just so proud of him. He always had the ability. It was a matter of just putting his mind to it and being willing to take a risk. And he's done it. And we're very, very proud of him.
While Mrs. Wood was talking, I had this feeling of saying, stop. That's what I was going to say. Okay, the reason I'm asking Stephen to remain seated is because I'd like to have his grandparents come up. Sorry.
Oh my dozen plans.
We don't typically give family awards at graduation. This is where I'm going to cry. But in this case, it seems very appropriate. So on behalf of both the Springboard and Turning Point programs, we would like to present Mr. and Mrs. Carpenter with the Best Grandparents of the Year Award for going way above and beyond the responsibilities of being grandparents and truly making a difference in the life of a young man who many of us at school. Okay, now you can come up.
No, wait a minute.
Here she comes.
family.
See him.
Open your eyes.
Okay. Stephen Fields. It is hard to know where to begin. As Ms. Wood said, Stephen had a pretty tough start at the beginning of this year, but sometime around December, when his grandparents stepped in, things started to turn around for him. For all of you parents who may be wondering if the time that you've invested, and I shouldn't say parents because we have several grandparents who are doing the same thing, for all the time that you've invested in the lives of your children and grandchildren, just know it does make a huge difference. The support that kids get from their families probably is the most critical thing in leading them to success and independence. And Stephen is solidly on his way to both. He has a job, will soon be getting his driver's license, and has worked hard to get ready to take the GED. Hopefully, through all this, he has discovered that he really is as smart as everyone has been telling him for all those years. He has now taken the GED exam and is waiting anxiously for the results. I think we may be more anxious than you are, Stephen. And hopefully they will arrive within a week or two. We are anticipating that he will be successful, which is why he's up here. However, it won't really be official until he actually gets the piece of paper from the State Ed Department in Albany. So hopefully we won't have to wait much longer to get that good news, and he will receive his diploma along with that notification. Okay, now the sentimental stuff, that's over. On to the challenge of embarrassing Stephen. As I was trying to think of an award, it's missing. As I was trying to think of an award for Stephen, 3 ideas came to my mind. The first was an award from the Writers Guild. This would be appropriate because Stephen really hates to write. It's a mystery to me why he despises it so, because he's actually quite good at it. I've only had a few students in the time I've taught GED who have avoided writing the way Stephen does. He's very skillful at it. His pat answer whenever I said, "Come on, Stephen, let's work on an essay," would be, "Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I promise." Occasionally there would be a week of tomorrows, sometimes a couple weeks here and there. But he finally would get around to it, and he passed the practice test that's required before students are allowed to take the actual exam. Stephen is actually a pretty sentimental guy, which not a lot of people really know about. Through the whole time that he was working on his GED material, he would only use one pen, and that was a pen from his grandfather's store. So I actually had a pen that wasn't from the store, but I don't know, I made it. I'll find it, it must be in the room somewhere.
You're not allowed to use that pen.
Yeah, you might not hate this one though. It's a special pen. The other thing about Stephen is that he tends to perseverate a little bit. And he found a YouTube video this year that he thinks is pretty hysterical. Now, it is pretty funny the first time you see it. But Stephen wants to show everyone this video multiple times. The person who filmed this video certainly didn't have any trouble memorizing the lines because there's only one. The guy just keeps saying over and over again.
Gotta look at it.
So I put a pen together that said, "Will you look at it?" And I taped it to the pen. I think it said, "Just look at it."
Yeah.
And I lost the pen. Okay, it's good that you said it because I don't really think I can say it the way you do.
Why not?
You want to do
You
it?
just gotta look at it.
You just gotta look at it. I have to hear him first. So he fits this into every conversation imaginable, and we hear it many, many times throughout the day. The third idea I had for an award is actually the one that I settled on. Since February or so, Stephen's been working part-time in his grandfather's tractor and farm supply store in Dryden. We'll give you a little bit of advertisement. That's the store on the main road. Once you go around the corner, it's got the John Deere sign in front of it. Good store. We were able to make a connection with Workforce New York for funding, and I think it's worked out quite well for Stephen and hopefully for his grandfather as well. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that since he started there, sales have actually skyrocketed. His grandfather's retired. He's now taken over the store.
No.
And he's in charge of. Stephen loves John Deere, and he has a hat that he wears usually. It has John Deere. He was
It's in
thinking.
the classroom.
He was thinking that maybe he'd take the tassel off and put it on the John Deere hat, but he said his grandmother would kill him, so he didn't do it. So anyway, what we would like to give Stephen is the Nothing Runs Like a Deer Award. And I need to add, except your mouth. But seriously, Stephen, we are very proud of you, and we will miss you next year. I am not sure that Smith School will be the same without you, though it will be a little bit quieter. And even though you wouldn't want to admit it, I think maybe you'll miss us too.
Well, you got a maybe.
Always know that you're an intelligent young man who can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Don't ever let your past get in the way of your future. You do have a bright future ahead of you, I'm sure of it, and we wish you the very best of luck. And this Independence Award is being given to you for making difficult personal decisions, working a part-time job, and completing the GED exam. Your parting gift, Circle of Courage, which I'm sure you'll hang somewhere.
I'm not allowed to hang anything on
Oh,
there.
well, it can stand up.
Yeah, it's all right.
You're
It's all right.
okay. And we would like to give you this certificate of completion presented to you for successfully completing the Journey Point program. Teachers Association Award, and come up with a check, and our best wishes for your continued success in the future.
Our last graduate is Cole Van Amberg. Cole, can you come up here, please? I always felt very lucky to be your teacher. It's been a great few years that we had together, and we're going to miss you a whole lot. When Cole first joined the Springboard program a few years ago, we all knew right away that he was a kind, thoughtful, and generous person. He always thought of others first. He was concerned if classmates or staff seemed upset and wanted to help. Cole is a movie nut, and he donated many of his DVDs to the Springboard program to start a DVD lending library. And I'll always think of him when I see the library, and I'll be sure to let others know who it was that was responsible for us having it there. Over the years Cole was with us, his spirit of goodwill and generosity spread through the program. He looked out for others, others looked out for him, and everyone just seemed to be treating each other better. So Cole planted a seed and it grew. One of the things that I like best about Cole is his sense of humor. I tend to joke in a kind of deadpan way, and I can sound serious even when I'm really joking. It's really funny when Cole is cracking up at something I said, but at the same time, he isn't 100% sure that I was joking. And he doesn't want to offend me by laughing at the wrong time. So as he's cracking up, he's trying to hold it in, and he's saying, "You're joking, right?" And I hope this isn't too twisted, but I really enjoyed those moments. I'm going to miss the sound of Cole's laughter. As I mentioned earlier, Cole is a movie nut. He lights up with enthusiasm when he starts talking about one of his favorite films. Mrs. Hall, who does an excellent job of putting the Smith School Times together, got Cole involved by having him write movie reviews, and he became a regular feature. Those of you who were with us at the award ceremony last year heard me read a bit of one of Cole's reviews. I hope you don't mind if I do it again, because his writing says so much about the great person that Cole is. And it was in this issue of the Smith School Times, and he was actually reviewing the film Django Unchained. And he co-wrote, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just the beginning and the end. He started off by saying, Django Unchained is a spaghetti western action movie. This movie was awesome. Some people may object to the racist language that is used in the movie. If you feel that way, you shouldn't see the movie, and maybe you shouldn't even read my review. So down at the end, he concludes by saying, I give Django Unchained a 10 out of 10, but if you're under 17, don't even think about watching it. So the things that I see in that review are, number one, his incredible knowledge and understanding of kind of the nuances of film. I mean, it's a film, it has a lot of nasty words, but it's not for a nasty purpose. So he understands the different levels that it's working on. Number two, I mean, his writing is so enthusiastic that just reading it is fun, because your enthusiasm comes across in your writing. And lastly, your sensitivity, because you're advising some people that shouldn't, see it if they're going to be offended by it. So you want to warn people, hey, if you're like this, you may not want to see this film. So he's always thinking of other people. So so I'll really miss his movie reviews, and they really got better and better. I'll really miss your laugh, and I'll really miss Cole, because this place just won't be the same without him. So we're going to miss you. At the same time, we're really happy to see you go to the next step of your life, and we know that you'll come and stay in touch with us. So Ms. Hall's going to do the certificate stuff, right? Or,
Are you waiting for that?
but I have, what's that?
You gonna do that?
Okay, so I have Circle of Courage Awards, and if you look at the Circle of Courage over there, everything that it says are things that you are really good at. Belonging, you're really part of the family, and you're really always looking out for other people. Mastery, you've gotten good at so many things. Your writing has improved so much. Independence, you do a lot of things on your own. And lastly, generosity. I mean, that's the big one for you. He's just such a generous, giving person. So with that in mind, I have this Circle of Courage Award. It's the full circle because you're so good in all those areas. So that's for you. And lastly, I have now showing Cole Van Amberg, the movie. All the critics agree that it is a 10 out of 10. So. Oh, Cole. Thank you. Okay. Are you up to wearing the button?
I'll just hold it.
You'll just
Okay.
It's hard to put on.
Okay, we have this, a framed copy of the Circle of Courage. It's something to remember us and the whole program by. As I said, you really excelled in all areas of it. Certificate of completion for successfully completing the Springboard program. And there will be a certificate coming from the Ithaca City School District, but it hasn't arrived yet. We'll be sure to get it to you. And, okay, so, thank you, Cole. We'll just,
No, stay here.
oh, sorry.
Or do you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the Springboard program has a special award called the Keith Riggs Award, and it was originated in honor of a student who I was not fortunate enough to know. He was before my time. Some people still in the building knew Keith, and I've heard wonderful things about him. And his parents endowed an award. They left some cash that was going to be used over the years to, to be a tribute to kids that are like Keith in the ways that he was so good at, which are just having a positive attitude about life, about school, and also having a really good sense of humor. And Cheyenne, oh, I jumped. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So Cheyenne was going to read this. So the reason Cheyenne's here is she volunteered to come up here and help us present this.
Okay. The reason I'm helping giving this award is because the person who is receiving it is someone I have known since 4th grade. He always is happy to help you if you need it. If you're upset, the person makes sure you're okay. He has grown a lot in the time I have known him. I think everyone in the Springboard program will agree that he will be missed next year and that he deserves this award. I am happy to present this award to my friend Cole Van Amber.
So this plaque will be on the wall, and just to add a little mystery, I had the name covered up. So there's your name. This is an unveiling.
If you
Richard.
can get it off.
Oh, no.
No, it's under there.
No, I don't. Look at there.
So Cole Van Derberg for the class of 2012 to 2013. And along with getting your name on the plaque, there's the cash award too. And most of all, it's just how much we care about you and we'll miss you. That's the important part. So this is a check for $100, and you deserve it. And thank you, Cheyenne.
I think everybody should know Cheyenne too, that Cheyenne knew about this award before everybody else did because she's the treasurer of our group and she needed to sign the requisition for the check.
Where are you going?
And when she found out that it was for you, Cole, she asked if she could write something and speak on your behalf. So this came right from Cheyenne's heart to yours. So we have one thing left to do. If the graduates would please rise.
Okay, well, I don't know if you know the tradition, but when you're an official graduate, you get to put your tassel on the other side. So it starts on the left, and now you can move it over to the right, and it's official.
Turns out right.
Oh, sorry. It's been a long time.
Looking at you back. So
So
congratulations.
now you're official graduate.
We hope you'll all join us for refreshments, pictures, whatever. For Springboard students, we also have copies of the yearbook, so you can use the remaining time of the day to get autographs and enjoy the time with your families.